Jacked Up Review Show. It's a Jacked Up Review Show. Jacked Up Review Show. It's the Jacked Up Review Show.
Join us as we cover many an insane movie and numerous cult TV phenomenons. Are you ready to get jacked up? Are you with us? Then listen on.
Listener discretion is advised. It's a Jacked Up Review Show. It's a Jacked Up Review Show. Jacked Up Review Show. It's a Jacked Up Review Show. It's a Jacked Up Review Show. Jacked Up Review Show.
And I'm back with an exclusive guest, Bella Maria of the Bella Maria Show on LA Talk Radio. We're here to discuss another special acting showcase. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super stoked on being here.
Absolutely. And more or less, it's just Bella Mason has just been doing this radio talk for about a few years now, would you say?
Yeah, I've been doing podcasting. I started off doing psychic podcasting on Blog Talk Radio. I got asked to do a couple different shows, and I kind of got that itch, like you get your first like podcast and you're on it. You're like, when's the next one? When's the next one?
Perfect.
So I've been doing this for 8 years now.
Oh, damn. 8 years, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No.
Thank you. Yeah, it's cool. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's always an adventure, and I always meet like really cool ass people. So, can we cuss? Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. All
right.
I put the explicit rating on this the minute I submitted to Apple Podcasts because I just knew it was like someone's gonna let something rip, and as long as we're not, flat out shaming someone, we're okay.
No, nothing like that.
I know.
No.
But for Franny, if you just want to just say, "Oh my God, what the shit," that's fine.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, it's just cool. It's really cool. I just actually somebody told me, because I'm trying to go into some voiceover acting.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, so I had a coach, and a coach told me, he goes, "You know what vocal fry is?" And I was like,
Oh?
what? I was like, well, no, not really. And he goes, well, like how you get those people that are just like, yeah, and I was like, oh, are you referring to me? He's like, it's not so bad. You're not that bad. And I was like, well, I'm from freaking California. What's gonna happen? And I'm like, total. Like, this is California. This is straight California with like a hint of Italian. So that's what you get.
Wow. No, that's great.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of vocal fry?
I have not. And that says a lot because I took some vocal training college classes briefly. So, I mean.
Yeah, I guess it's a millennial thing, apparently. That's what I was told. But he couldn't multitask, so I told him, I guess it's a millennial thing that I can. I was a little irritated, but it was cool.
Oh man. So I'll let you, since you are the featured guest and the only one participating in this roundtable discussion, I'm gonna let you even just state how you came to know about actor, comedian, musician, and Broadway performer John Leguizamo.
Yeah. I think my first experience with him watching, well, there was a couple, but my biggest, like, I think the one that really was Romeo and Juliet, because I think he was in a really, it stuck with me. That is the only, every time I see his face, I'm like, oh yeah, he did Romeo and Juliet. And I don't know why, but he was very, very good as a character. His character, he just did a great job. And he did exactly what he was supposed to do. But then I started looking at all the other shows that he's done, and I'm like, oh yeah, he was good there. But yeah, my first real big, like the one that I remember, I think it was just that, like, high school, because it was back when I was in high school. So, and I watched that, but he's always been very theatrical. I really like him.
Absolutely. I think that's very well said. He just knew a way to just kind of. I'm fortunate enough that before this interview, last fall on Conan O'Brien's podcast, he was a guest, and they talked about how he was like one of the first guests, and everyone's trying to figure out their career. And he illustrated it perfectly how he was auditioning for roles, and both he and Conan did this thing where if they were trying something and they knew they were going to get notes on it, they always convinced that their supervising producer that it was their idea, so they'd be able to get away with it. And that's just it. They left him alone. And he's just always kind of found a way to just kind of come in on the scene, So whether it was doing an HBO special or just doing some other dramatic TV movie, a Broadway show, or Ice Age was definitely a helper because common recurring voiceover there, so the kids knew where he was. But then he just starred in all these other crime and dramatic movies, a bunch of miniseries. So. But going even back to the original Conan point, he shared an amusing story how he always, he went to acting school and then just kept being part of the comedy troupes, inventing his own style of comedy. It was the same to him as when he was a kid making wise ass jokes with his family around the table. So it was just,
he's funny. He's a funny guy though. Like
absolutely. And I've seen people say, oh, I found him annoying in that movie. I'm like, yeah, but that's what the character needed and all that. He's worn so many different hats. And he talked about how in that interview how he would keep auditioning for so many different roles and never let anyone give him an ugly eye, on the way in. And it was just so funny. He'd hang out with other acting buddies, Benicio del Toro and Benjamin Bratt, and he would ask him, did you audition for the same thug role or boyfriend role I was getting? Yeah. You think the movie's gonna suck? Yeah, but I'm in it and I'll be good in it.
It's kind of like I was thinking, like, I think the other one was the Tu Wong Fu.
Yes. Hell, that's ranked kind of role number one.
Yeah, like that one kind of floored me because I was young and I'm like, these guys are dressing up as girls. Like, what is this? I'm so confused, because I was young. But I do remember
the drag scene. Yeah.
No, not at all. And like the fact that, like, I mean, he did it so well. Like, he played the part so well.
As Chi-Chi or whatever. But yeah, I mean, his charisma is just works so well against Swayze and Snipes, who again were getting the muscular roles at that time, and no one knew that they had a funny bone in their body, and it was great.
Right? Yeah, and the fact that, like, I think it's also because he's Latin. You tend
Puerto
to
Rican.
he tends
Yeah.
he could come Puerto Rican.
Oh, good.
But
yeah.
But well, he was from Colombia, wasn't he?
I don't know. Let's look up again.
He's looking at it right now, and I'm seeing that he's born in Bogota, Colombia.
Okay. Well, let's look it up.
And he is Latin American culture.
My bad. Okay.
All right. I told you I'm a researcher, man.
Oh yeah. Okay. Shit. All right. Perfect. Yeah, and I think it helps that more or less he kind of kept this role. He just dived into. He definitely knew people like that. He knew what the role required. He just feared no one.
No. I think in a way, I think he was I think he's not recognized as much as he should be. Like, I think people should recognize him a little bit more. I think he's a very good actor. It's not like he's just subpar, like oh, he's just, I think he should get a little bit more credit for what he does. He's a great actor. He does what he needs to do, and
Mhm.
there's so many different, like, I'm looking at all the different, I haven't watched it's kind of bad. I think this is because I had kids, but I haven't been able to watch the John Wick series. Like, I've not been able to watch them,
Oh, oh,
and
oh, all good.
I've been wanting to watch them. Like, I am such a movie buff, and after having kids, like, shit just went south. Like, there's just no, like, we just, I can't get it. I can't get those. Like, we have a Saturday now. We've like made it where it's like mandatory Saturdays where we just like watch one movie. So maybe I'm gonna have to add to the list John Wick. But The Happening was good. That was a good movie too.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, he definitely had no. Was always just very ballsy with picking roles. His role in Wick is a key one, but very minor one where he's just like the car mechanic on the black market. But
Yeah.
I think that's just it. He finally was able to, because everyone could see that he could sing, dance, and tell jokes, as well as just go into some very dark and morbid material. He also really just showed off, he's just able to do so many different kinds of guest roles, and he always appears in the most unlikely places. I had my aunt and uncle who were very amused when they woke up one day and they saw that there was like not a PSA, but a nonprofit special on, and he just was one of the random callers on the thing. They're like, nice.
They're like, he's on.
He's on, and he has our full attention. What does this cause?
Yeah. Yeah, he's good. He is good. Who did he play in Ice Age? Why am I like,
He
is
was
he the
Sid. He was Sid the
me
Sloth. Yeah.
the sloth? The sloth.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to like picture his voice in that, but sometimes it's just,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
very
yeah,
goofy. But
yeah. And The Pest, he was actually he was pretty funny on The Pest.
right, and it had
It
cult
was
comedy
annoying.
written all over it.
It was annoying. It was an annoying show. But I remember as a kid, I was like, that's a pretty good movie. That's kind of funny.
I read on his
They could,
Wikipedia page that apparently when promoting Moulin Rouge, he appeared on the celebrity edition of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
oh no way.
And wow.
Yeah, it's Moulin Rouge though, like, I don't know. That was a kind of a weird lineup of characters, like of actors though. I
Yeah.
did not like that movie. Like, I thought I would have liked it more. It kind of was more of annoying than something that I would have enjoyed. Because I like theater. I mean, I have no problem with that, and musicals. I love musicals. It's just that one just annoyed me. Like, I couldn't.
It's
There was
definitely a
something about.
movie where you kind of watch once just to say, hey, I checked out the actors in a different role, but it's not necessarily as like I must see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely. So he did get a Tony Award, right? Or
Oh, it
did he
has
get
to.
a
Let's
special Tony?
let's check. Accolades by John Leguizamo.
Winning several awards, including a special Tony Award, made over 12 television appearances.
Oh man. Okay. He won in '91 for the off-Broadway production Mambo Mouth. He played 7 different characters and won an
That's cool.
Obie Award and an Outer Critics Award. Nice.
He has the face, like, he has that face that he could pretty much do. It's like, he reminds me of, like, he has that kind of face of, oh my God, I'm totally drawing a blank, but Ace Ventura. Why?
Oh, Jim Carrey. Yeah, we actually covered
Jim
it
Carrey.
last week. But no, that's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah, he that kind of the same like eyebrows where he could probably make those, those expressions and those faces, and
That's
scary
so
and funny.
true. Yeah, he definitely was one of
But
those kind of pretty much he just kind of dug into the whole thing, and he the people who stay for the jokes like him, but those who actually stay to hear all the serious stuff really dig it too, because it's just like he is definitely a man of many faces and talents, and I mean, Land History for Morons was just such a great stage play and stand up special that he did for Netflix. But I was fortunate enough to see the PBS Masterpiece Theater special where they covered how they got out that loving message where he was talking about okay, so that's where it says he had a grandfather who was of Italian and Puerto Rican descent, so that's why I got it all mixed up with.
Got it.
But
So
yeah,
he does have Puerto Rican in him. It's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just such a good special because it was kind of a fun history lesson and it was very witty, and I loved how he would keep saying to the audience, "Morons, that's you." Let's go on a history tour on Latin history. And at one point during the special, he accidentally gets a bunch of chalk. It's part of the stage act, but he gets a bunch of chalk on his, accidentally on his hair while he's erasing stuff on the chalkboard. And he's like, "I look like Frederick Douglass here." Yeah.
I remember that, and it gets all in his hair, and every time he shakes his head or something, it like starts coming out.
It fluffs around.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and I totally forgot that he was on In Living Color.
That's right. He was doing like House of Bamba and a few other Fox sketch shows around that same time, and he just had to,
That's cool. He did the Latino version of it.
right?
That's cool.
I think it also helps that you're never going to really hear anything shitty about him. I mean, even in his outrageous talk about working with difficult, crappy celebrities like Penelope Ann Miller and Steven Seagal, that no one ever has said, he was the instigator of the whole thing.
He just seems like he just works with everybody. I think he just kind of like deals with it and moves on. People. I think that's kind of what you do. You just do your job and just move on. That's it.
For sure.
It kind of makes you look better. If you start making stinks and you start, causing a problem, nobody's going to want to work with you.
Mm-hmm. It'll catch up.
Yeah, he'll definitely catch up, and then they're going to be like, "No, cool, I'll pass." Or it's going to be given like some unwanted, exposure that might create more attention for them. And then, hey, they're immediately this well-known person.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be bad press. I'd rather be good press. That's for sure.
Nice. Oh boy. So, I'll let you list a second role for him, and then I'll circle around to a role that really stuck out for me. I mean,
another role that stuck out for me.
Yeah, for you, yeah.
Okay. God, I think because we've talked about a couple of them already.
Okay. So I mean, technically, we got Wong Fu, The Pest, and
yeah.
So that's two roles.
Yeah, I think we'll know, and because then I remembered. Yeah, I don't know. See, that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of them. Like, I covered like Moulin Rouge, but I didn't think he was good. I think it was like he was okay in it. It was more.
We did Romeo and Juliet, so okay.
Yeah,
Romeo
and Juliet. I remember the Super Mario Brothers. He did good on that one.
What's funny is I had a friend who swears by that movie who can't be on tonight, but he would have definitely listed that too because he just thought he brought it his all.
Yeah, he was good. It was just an entertaining show, like it was entertaining. So that's what you want, right?
Yeah, he actually gives a fun independent review for like an anniversary, and he was just like, "I'm just glad someone liked it." You're asking me about it, so I did my job.
Yeah, he did Luigi. He did Luigi pretty good,
Yep.
He was a Latin Luigi. It was good. Because Luigi's Italian, I don't know.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, uh,
But he
they
did pretty good. They well, okay, so I'm biased because I'm Italian. So I'm Sicilian. So that's why I said that. I'm not saying that he can't play it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm
well, and I
saying that
mean, he's got some
it
mixed in it.
wasn't as it he came across as like a fake Italian. So that's why I'm saying that. I'm
And to
not
be
saying that
fair, not like the film was rooted in reality, but he also didn't play it like such a stereotypical Italian. He was just like, okay, it's a fantasy version of an Italian plumber duel. So.
exactly. there's nobody to go based on it, but yeah, he was good. It was good. I remember watching that. It was entertaining, and it was interesting. Carlito's Way was another one. That was a good one.
Yeah, one of two Brian De Palma roles we'll definitely mention on here because I mean, I think it helps that it's so funny. You think he's just one of the punks, just one and done, just like all the other people who were then unknown in that movie, Robert Pastor, Viggo Mortensen. And it's like, no, he just comes back with a vengeance. And I just love how he's like, he says something like, say hi to your friends or something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, it's
Good
good. He does good.
I'm sure he's got plenty of Pacino stories to tell. I haven't read his memoir book.
It's crazy because I mean I think a lot of different I think there's so many people that are so good at doing like when you're going into character, when you're watching a movie, you want to watch a movie like where the person is going to show exactly how you want them to be perceived. And if you don't come across that way, it's really hard to take the character seriously. And
Absolutely.
so, hence, that's why I said Luigi as Latin, things like that. I didn't feel like he was trying to be Italian, but it's kind of like with Carlito's Way, it was just he did exactly what he was supposed to do, and
Right.
I think that really showed. And it didn't matter if he was not Latin or Latin. I think he would have played it just right because he does have that look, like the
Yeah.
sharp jawline, that look, and it's just he could pull it off really well. So
For sure. I mean, he definitely fooled a lot of us in that we didn't know where he was going to go with any of these roles, and he would always just kind of be in your face and surprise you.
yeah. I liked him. I like him a lot. I think he's somebody who should be, like I said, he should definitely be recognized a little more, for sure.
I would hope it's got to be to that point by now. This is like
There's some people that they could go on and on and on and never really be considered, but at least he got nominated for an Emmy.
Right.
For Freak, right? He got that one.
I think so. Yeah, it was a good stand-up special.
So I think it's just all about. I think that he's going more into producing right now, isn't he?
He's doing a bit of that, but he's still. Yeah, he'll always just show up in just the most uncommon movies, and it'll take him. And it's like, that's John Leguizamo. Like he was in an episode of The Mandalorian. I would never known had I not seen the IMDb. And I was like, oh well, he was under a bunch of heavy makeup, and his voice was very morphed. But
yeah, you can't tell with some of these, these different ones. I was like, I also too was like, Mandalorian, really? Where? So
yeah,
it's cool to say that you've been in that. I mean, who doesn't want to be on the Mandalorian? I would want to be on the Mandalorian.
Right.
That'd be fun.
Eventually, yeah. More or less. So at role number 6, I'm gonna mention Executive Decision. He brought so much to this, bunch of Navy SEALs trying to stop, terrorism on a plane. Did you
Why
ever
have I seen that?
Really? Okay. Well, it used to be on TBS and TNT quite a lot. I bet. Yeah, it had young Holly Berry, Kurt Russell,
What was it again?
Executive Decision.
Executive Decision. Okay, I'm gonna have to like watch it.
Okay,
It's a whole series.
It's just a blockbuster movie from '96.
Oh, it's a blockbuster movie. That's what I thought. Because at first I thought you said so. It's just a show that it just airs. It's a movie that airs on
Yeah, yeah.
TNT.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, it's just something I just see on TNT every single once in a
It
while.
was. It seemed like it was on every weekend, and it's just so wild how he plays Captain Rat. That's his nickname, Rat. It's just
Oh,
B.D. Wong from Law and Order and Nora from Queens is also in it. It was a pretty cool cast. And don't be fooled by Seagal. He's only in it for like a few minutes. It's one of the few movies in which he dies in.
yeah, he's supposed to never die.
You're right.
Oh
It's
my
an
God.
overall very exciting movie. And
Go ahead.
yeah. But I feel like it was just a very well orchestrated movie. It's one of the better '70s disaster movies that never was and got made, 2 decades later in the '90s. And and it's by the same writers who worked on Behind Enemy Lines and the Predator movies. So it has that same kind of just very just testosterone fueled movie without being just junky or just annoying.
I liked the Predator. It all brings all these like names like bring back so many like kid memories when I'm sitting down next to like my dad, hanging out on the couch watching movies.
If it's on, it's on. It's the CBS movie of the night. No one remembers.
Yep, that was actually, and like we always had the black boxes, like all the families have.
Yeah, it's the widescreen.
We had the no. You don't? Okay. Well, how old are you?
Okay, you're talking about the actual black box TV. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talking about like, oh my God, I think every person I knew and like my family friends, like they all had a black box and they could get all the free shows, all the free channels that they wanted.
Oh jeez, yeah. I definitely had bootleg cable, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, that was the one. That was the start of like cable and like getting the black box. That black box was like when they could watch every show. So
Now
they
it's
were always
digital
so
form.
excited.
Like the Firebox has kind of been what's taken over now.
Yeah. Like it's crazy because yeah, we would always sit down and like watch like Hellraiser. I remember my first like watching
Nice.
Hellraiser, right? It was like, oh man. And then also Hamburger Hill. That was also another movie that my dad watched. I was 7 years old and I watched Hamburger Hill. Do you know what Hamburger Hill is?
It's a very wonderful. We'll actually be covering Don Cheadle eventually later this month. So I mean, yeah, that's going to definitely come up.
Yeah.
I
Hamburger
can't
Hill
imagine
was
watching that young man.
yeah, 7 years old watching Hamburger Hill, like this guy's blood, like guts just like popping out of like his body. I was like, oh my God.
Jeez. I saw it edited, but man, I can only imagine what it's like uncut.
Yeah. You saw it edited. Oh my God. Yeah. I saw when it was like, yeah, it was legit. I was like, what?
Shit. Oh God. Such a sad movie too.
It is a sad movie. It
I
was
think
a
I
very
watched just about every war drama growing up. Killing Fields, Private Ryan, all those movies. And it was always just as like Deer Hunter, definitely. I resaw and I'm like, never watching that again. It's a good movie, but boy.
It's funny how when you say you're a kid and you're watching those ones, and I feel hella old, man. But like I would watch, like ours was like oh my God. I mean, it was all Vietnam movies. That's all we ever watched was like all Vietnam movies. My dad, straight military. I'm a Navy brat. So
Oh, nice.
that's
So was my
all
grandfather.
yeah, Navy, go Navy. USS Los Angeles. That was my dad. But yeah, it's great. It was great. We always like watch those. And I think that's why I'm like so stuck to my American roots of like being American, because I got to watch all these people, and these men suffering. It's just, and those actors really did what they were supposed to do. It's just, it was, there are some really hard times that, people went through, and we tend to forget that. But going back to executive decision, I'm sorry.
It's an executive
We'll talk about
decision.
Captain Rat.
Captain Rat. Yeah, this movie definitely, I like how it's both a die-hard earthquake type movie on a plane. It came out a year before Air Force One. All those other films were coming out, but it's easily well ranked up there. It's very suspenseful, and just you feel the sweat literally on everyone's face in every scene. Is that well shot and edited. Holly Berry gets to do a lot. She's playing the flight attendant who's helping the SEALs, and it's definitely one of Kurt Russell's less kind of.
Kinda.
Oh well, and I'm sure someone might have seen part of it on TV at one point or something, but they didn't know what it was because that's where the market started being oversaturated with. There's got to have some kind of disaster movie coming out every year.
Yeah. He was on the Empire too.
The show.
Yeah, the movie Empire. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh yeah. 2002. I was actually I totally don't know how I spaced on that. I think that one. Well, hell, let's have that be role number 7. Did you see that
Sure.
one? Yeah.
I did.
It was just a blood in, blood out. Also kind of like Carlito's Way, and it's interesting just seeing him be the streetwise guy. I saw so many people just trash it at the time, say nothing but a predictable movie. It's like I kind of like how it begins, kind of like Boys in the Hood and Goodfellas, and then gets even more kind of.
It's your gangster movie. You want it to be predictable. Like, that's what people want. It's like freaking Hallmark. Everybody wants predictability. Like, predictability is what people want. People, like, you want to be able to go in and be like, this is how I want to feel, and this is how it's like, literally, it's like,
I mean, as long as it's not just boring or dull. Like, I mean,
oh, of course not.
It's the same thing with all these crooked cop movies and spy movies. You pretty much know how it's going to end, but as long as it's more than just a Friday night movie and you actually kind of like the storyline that they're building and the characters, that's what really counts. And I think this one benefits because, you got a guy who's trying to get out of the hood while he's also trying to get some business on the side from some stock guys who are also shady. And instead of just wasting time with, money, women, power, it kind of goes even more kind of into just kind of he has to eventually sell out a friend or risk just losing it all, and then he's just like, well, I'm not going to kill my friend, so you're just going to have to kill me.
He's like, sorry, not happening. You're gonna kill me first. Yeah, I think it's just, I think like my favorite gangster movie when I was growing up was Casino. I watched that so much. That's probably why I cuss so much though. I'm horrible. I'm a horrible. I went to private school too. That's where I learned how to cuss. So
wow. I thought it was all to avoid that. Okay.
No, my mom said the same thing. She's like, I send you to private school and this is what you get. This is what I get. I'm like, yeah, I guess so, Mom.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so that's roles number 7. I'll let you name another role if you can think of one.
I got Empire. We did 8. Empire.
Oh shit. Oh wait.
Right?
I think that's role number 7 technically, but I might be wrong doing the math.
Oh,
Okay.
was that 7? We did 6. Okay, 7. I just did Empire, so now you got to come up with one.
Okay, so yeah, technically that's 8. Yeah. Okay. No. I'm gonna go ahead and mention, and none other than Cash.
Happening.
I mean, if you want to list that as role number 9, so shit. Okay.
Well, I
did not
talked about
like
the
this
happening.
movie.
I brought it up.
Yeah. Okay. Doesn't he
Okay,
get mauled
so-
by a tiger in the beginning of the movie? If I'm remembering, or
Yeah. Yeah, he does. Let me see. That was a weird movie.
yeah, it was an X-Files Twilight Zone type thing.
Yeah. But it was good. It was a good movie.
Really?
I don't know.
I mean, I kind of found it unintentionally amusing, just the way everything was staged and overacted. But I do like early Shyamalan.
Yeah, I mean, he's good. He's good. He just like disappeared though. Where did he go?
Oh, he's still working. He did 2 different shows, and then he did the sequel to Unbreakable. Glass.
So I think what has happened here is that COVID has really fucked things up for us.
Oh, this was before COVID.
But you gotta understand, like, I can't remember anything anymore. Like,
Okay.
like everything has always been like, I remember when I went into that movie and I was having my popcorn and I was with this person and I watched this movie. Like now everything is like, I just don't remember things anymore. Like it's just I'm sitting on the couch and watching whatever and nothing ever like even if I was to play and like watch it like way later, everything is such a blur. I just don't know anymore. That's just I think that's just maybe mom. That's a me. I'm being a mom right now. But yeah, nothing.
It's hard to keep up with some of these. They are kind of just out there. It's like, well, I'll watch them probably later. I don't think I'll watch them now.
But really, like when you used to go to the movie theater, you like would remember like the moment, what you were feeling, like getting excited about, like I have to do that with the kids. Like you got to get them excited about like watching a movie. So we like build the fort and like make it fun and, get the popcorn, do all that stuff. But like we can't go to movies anymore. So everything is done in-house. So you have to make it exciting. Like, what are you going to do?
Right.
You don't have that excitement. It's not like, I remember like when I was a kid on Friday nights, my dad would let me have like pick of the movie and it'd be like Pippi Longstockings. Like, but right. I'm like totally sure. I'm an 80s baby.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I love my
man. I think everyone does, but now it's the time where, like you say, it's like that you really gotta really hit home and really. I mean, if someone tells you you gotta check out this movie, it can't just be, because I'm your friend. It's like why should I sit down for an hour and watch this movie?
Yeah.
It helps when the actor's in an unrecognizable role or the gimmick is really uncanny. It's like, okay, yeah, firing it up.
That's kind of like how I felt with like this is a series, but I felt that way with Billions. I had to watch every show, and when it ended, I'd be like, oh fuck, like totally just like what the heck? But that was the best series ever. I loved him in that I mean that role. All of them, they were just so good.
Oh yeah.
And man, it was like raunch. It was just perfect. I loved it. It took you to a whole other like place where you just wanted to be him, like it's just
see what he'll do next.
Yeah, dude, he was fucking nuts. He's a crazy ass like billionaire who can do whatever the fuck he wants to do. It was crazy.
You can tell they did some serious research. It's like, who are the Bernie Madoffs of the world who haven't been convicted yet?
God, yeah. Like, what are the things that people do to like get
apparently
their billion?
Succession, that rival show, which apparently seems to be a gentle rivalry. Most people are going to probably say they like both shows as opposed to the whole Game of Thrones, Stranger Things kind of rivalries. And it's like that. This one, is apparently based on the Murdochs, and I think it helps that many of these actors have all appeared in some kind of financial thriller, and they've been able to show the different dark side of humanity and build on it. And
yeah, absolutely.
Leguizamo was definitely no exception here.
It was good. Like I could see John going into one of these shows, those kind of shows. Like he would be
totally.
He would totally be good. Like he needs to find that kind of role. Like I think he like needs to be in a series like that to be able to. I think he would be very entertaining if he was in.
I could see him as a club owner with some stock who's like, "Come on, man, you just ripped me off."
Yeah, or like even like like an even a motorcycle. Like I know like a lot of people like, you know, with the Sons of Anarchy, things like that, the Mayans. Dude, he would be badass. Like, you know, like one of
I
like
would buy him for that. Yeah.
I would totally have him as like that role. I would totally. It would work. It would work. I just don't know why he doesn't do it as much. I don't know.
I
Are
mean,
they like afraid that he's gonna bust out in like music or what? I don't know. I mean, maybe
not
he
like
just
he
has that.
hasn't, not like he hasn't already been doing music. So I mean, I don't know.
I mean, like, is that why? Is that like he's going into more of like the musicals and like Broadway, and so they're just like worried that he's gonna like have that image, you know, to not be picked. Like he really should consider going into some of these if he hasn't. It just I think he would be good at it.
I would hope so. I mean, I'm sure he would.
It's here nor there. Whatever.
For the final role, and we'll do some honorable mentions after this, I'm gonna definitely mention Hanging with the Homeboys.
Oh my gosh.
Did you ever see that one?
Yes.
It used to come on Comedy Central all the time, and it was such a very vivid and very well-meaning kind of movie. And
Yeah. He's animated there. I don't know.
Oh yeah, and he plays off his Empire co-star Nestor Serrano, so that was cool. Another underrated actor who's played so many different ethnicities and kinds of anti-heroes and villains. So I mean, for Leguizamo, it was just cool seeing he's the young guy and he's you know, very full of himself, and then he's just realizing I should not be doing this. You know, I used to see this mentioned in crime. It's like, no, don't call it a crime movie. It's just a flat out wacky dramedy.
It was good. It was fun. It was entertaining. That's the whole point. That was I think most of those shows are
coming of age movies. Yeah.
straight, just entertainment. That was it.
Well, it was entertainment, but it made you think without feeling like it, you know, it had an agenda or it just was unorganized or trying to do too much all at once, you know?
It was entertaining. It was just straight entertainment. And that's what I like.
It was, but didn't you feel like it was also kind of like you could see kind of people like this in the real world?
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. Like, it was just kind of more as like, we're looking at the side of life that is precious and unique as opposed to, you know.
Well, that was during the times when, wasn't it? Okay, hold on.
It was 91.
When was that? Yeah, 91. So, God, why am I? Boys in the Hood. Like,
right.
You know, you had all of those coming out. It was that type of vibe. It was the 90s.
Vito, Loca, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all of that was the time of the 90s. That was 90s are cool. Now it's all coming back, all the clothes and everything. All that's showing up now.
You can't kill us. You can't kill us.
Oh my God. I just I was looking at I felt like Blossom was coming back or something with Joey. I was seeing all these like everybody like wearing the same things that I used to wear when I was like 12. I was like,
wow.
Like, whoa, this is weird.
Damn.
That is so freaking weird. I'm not cool, but whatever. If they like it, they like it. Scrunchies, whatever. Cool. I don't know.
I was trying to watch some movies before this episode, but I didn't get enough time. I'm told the indie film Night Owl was pretty good. It's a vampire / New York crime film.
Okay. I'll have to look.
Yeah, I mean,
for Spawn, he did the Violator, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of annoying in that, but I don't think he's bad in it. I think it's just one of those, just the graphics and everything, and we're just kind of very just over the top.
Well, I don't think that was really him. That was
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's not his fault.
I'm like that sounds like the producer or the director.
Yeah.
But
his heart was in the right place. It just kind of just felt like it was trying too hard to kind of appeal to all the grunge metal scene and the just only the comic book fans, and then just kind of make it accessible for all the movie people. Because I mean, the cartoon on HBO was kind of like that, but it wasn't as in your face and just taking you hostage.
I think Spawn was not as good. I don't know. I didn't like Spawn, the movie,
Yeah,
as much.
it
It's so, in a way, I think it was just the way, like, but as him with the
delivery.
character,
yeah.
he wasn't bad. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. So
Mm-hmm. And I mean, more or less, I mean, this is, I think, when comic book movies were becoming just too much hit and miss. Just, and
yeah,
still are, but I mean, this was kind of like the start of that trend. You had Batman and Robin and all that other stuff. It's like, hey, I guess he would rather be in. What would you rather be in, that one or this one? Well, you got to pick and choose.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Yeah. I think I'd be in Spawn. Yeah,
I
it'd be a good
guess.
movie. Kind of like a movie.
Would I rather play Russian roulette with it loaded or unloaded? I don't know. He's in a really brief boyfriend role in the Tarantino-inspired movie Frogs for Snakes, and I recommend that one.
I like Tarantino. He's so good.
Yeah. But this isn't a Tarantino movie; it's inspired.
Yeah, I know. Just thinking.
Oh, okay.
I just thought about it. I'm like, Tarantino.
It would be cool to see him as Tarantino movie, but
Right? That would be good. Like Dust to Dawn.
Oh,
That would have
God.
been. He would have been perfect
Why
for
was
Dust
he
for
not
Dawn.
in that one?
I know, right? Or even like I could totally see him as like a creepy dude in like True Romance or something.
He should have
Like,
been.
he
What
should
if?
have played Elvis. No, I'm just
There
kidding.
you go. He should have been one of the Reservoir Dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been perfect for it for
He could
sure.
have been Mr. Blue, who does the getaway driving, or I don't know.
I'm
and had
trying.
some more animated lines.
Right. No, yeah, he should be in a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think.
did you ever see the Assault on Precinct 13 rehash?
No.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I like the original, but I also like this one because it's kind of its own thing, kind of more like Training Day in Serpico, and he got to play one of the prisoners who, was talking some smack and helping out the
Nice.
cops who were pinned down by the mix of crooked cops and mobsters who have them pinned in. And I mean, he gets to share the screen with Curry Graham, Gabriel Byrne, Ja Rule, and Maria Bello. So I mean, Drea Damasio. So it was quite a hell of a cast. And
That's cool. That must have been fun. That
oh
must have
yeah, I mean,
been a good thing to watch.
I definitely watched it a ton. The cast, the main leads were Ethan Hawke and Lawrence Fishburne, doing their cool thing. But I mean, having him in there really did make the movie all the more just a lot of fun.
Right on.
And just showing that again, he'll be part of an ensemble. And I mean, we were talking Shakespeare earlier. He's in this really bad. Apparently, it's based on one of Shakespeare's lesser plays called Cymbeline. But he, Ed Harris, and Vonnie Curtis Hall, and just game changers. Totally made the movie so much more than it would have been had they not been in it.
Well, that's probably why they put him in there.
Hack director, working on the movie. We need you in here.
Right.
He's also in the Romero's Land of the Dead as, that's right, Cholo.
Cholo.
And
Yeah.
a lot of people are mixed on this one, but out of all of Romero's movies, I think this one is just really good at just showing, again, the dark side of mankind, but in a more entertaining way on like 2020. And this was years before, but it's the similar kind of way where it's just like everything is just a wasteland. You're just going from one block to the other, and that's you'll find it. And just having all the bikers and criminals kind of be also the good guys, and the bad guys are all the corporations. It was just an interesting take on it.
That's pretty cool. I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if you like zombie films, especially Romero's peak, like Dawn of the Dead, Day, I think you'll find something to like here. But he was.
I used to watch all of that.
Sorry.
I loved it.
Oh yeah, and well, we'll definitely do some zombie specials in the future. I mean, he was also in the music drama Sueno, and I thought that was a really underrated one.
Which one was it?
Sueno, where he's a guitarist on the road.
Sueño.
Sueño.
Sueño. I think that's what it is. I think that whole. I'll talk to you later about it. But back to the vocal fry thing. I think it's because I'm Italian, and like everything, like when we talk about things like kind of get exaggerated, you know.
Yeah. Well, and based
Like
enunciating it also helps, but I mean,
the
I'm not
pronunciation is like very different. Yeah.
Oh
But I
God.
think it's also being a Californian millennial, apparently. Anyways, I'm still kind of like trying to figure it out. I'm like, I'm trying not to do it. Sorry. But I just said sueño, and then that's exactly that's exactly what a vocal fry is.
Sueño.
That's so
he doesn't have too many movies other than that one that have to be pronounced a certain way. But I think it's interesting how he kind of keeps just, you don't even know what kind of persona he's gonna play until he plays it. He just knows how to kind of be sneaky that way.
Yeah, he's so versatile. Like he really, really does so many. I mean, like even when he did the Romeo and Juliet, like he really played that one good. I mean, that one was, he just made the movie that he made the movie because he was just so dramatic and theatrical, and he just was perfect for that role. He made the movie.
I would think so. I mean, how could he not? I mean, and I saw other people, I even disputed that one time. They're like, nah, hell no, this actor, that actor. I'm like, no, and no. He's like the only guy I really remember in that movie, and he's not even the main character.
Absolutely. I mean, I know
he's
that
strapped and he's ready for conflict. It's just very engaging.
he was very in your face, and those are the ones that you remember. So.
Mm-hmm. He's really good in The Take, which is again a heist movie. One of many movies where he co-stars with Rosie Perez.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
He played off against Tyrese, and he's just kind of getting his life back together. And he's like, he comes face to face with the thief, and he's like, "Hey, nothing personal, but you kind of made it personal. Like you fucked up my life." He's in a great.
That was some time ago, dude. He was in Miami Vice,
right? Like being a guest star.
And Die Hard 2.
Mm-hmm. Kick-Ass 2. He's in a good one playing a mentally challenged man in King of the Jungle. The movie isn't enjoyable, really, but it's a very, very well-filmed, well-acted movie. I would probably watch it again when I'm in a better mood. But that was an HBO original movie, and so that's just it. He ended up being on a bunch of these, special premiere, special original production movies for them. He's in Nothing Like the Holidays, which I remember seeing when that first came out. With Freddie Rodriguez, and again his undefeated co-star Vanessa Ferlito. He's in another interesting vigilante movie with Harvey Keitel called The Ministers. Mm-hmm. It's kind of, but it was interesting because it reunited him with the same writer and director of Empire, where these priests decide to get rid of various people while being part of a religious order. And
interesting.
I don't think it was that great a movie, but it was definitely watchable, and I might even just watch it again just because, again, it was kind of a Sidney Lumet kind of movie, whereas like the premise is there, and so the acting really is actually part of the star of the show, because it's not just them making a premise even better. It is actually helping them enhance the very gritty environment that they're in. He's been in plenty of other movies that you'll have to kind of blink twice and be like, wait, he was in that? Well, it wasn't that big a role. Definitely would recommend The Crash, which is an interesting computer hacking movie he did. He's in The Infiltrator, but it's not that big a role. Whispers in the Dark was an interesting one because he played a guy, a patient on Suicide Watch.
And he did a Suicide Watch. Wait, which one was that one?
Whispers in the Dark.
Whispers in the Dark.
It has Annabelle Scora and Jamie Sheridan, pre-Criminal
Yeah.
Intent. Yeah.
I remember. I remember seeing that. I think that was one of them, just a random movie.
Yeah, it's disappointing ending, but it's interesting watching it. He's good in Summer of Sam. I am a big Spike Lee fan, but that's not, I've tried watching that one multiple times, and it's just like with Oliver Stone's Alexander. At the end of the day, I don't care what cut of the movie I watch; it's just not interesting to me. But he's
Yeah, you just
it's an
gotta make.
interest. Sorry,
Go ahead.
Oh,
No, go ahead.
I was going to interrupt. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't even remember now. It left.
Summer
Memory
of
left.
Sam. Okay.
It doesn't even. Go ahead.
Doesn't compute. All right. Titan AE was an interesting kind of voice work movie. It's just a Star Wars epic by Don Bluth. And I don't think this was ever that bad as they made it out to be.
Well, so I think people are just so overcritical. Like, I don't even look at the Rotten Tomato. Like, I call it the Rotten Tomatoes.
Right. That site does
you know,
not even exist to me. I'm just like,
no,
nope.
I mean, when they say it's bad, I go to it because then it's really supposed to be good. It's actually good.
Mhm.
I don't
So-
think they know what they're talking about.
They often don't. And that's why friends of the show, Steve and Izzy, on Everything I Learned from Movies, do a good job. They'll always be guessing the score, and each time Izzy will always be like, "Fuck you, critics," because it will always be just such a big, like, gap. Is like, why is the audience score 30% and the critic scores 90%,
Right?
and vice
Yes.
versa?
I'm like, if the people liked it, then I'm going. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, sometimes I even have to just say, well, the low critic score or user score is probably because they want it to be ha ha ha, and it's more kind of subtle, wacky, outrageous.
Yeah, that too.
Mhm.
Uh,
Did you ever see? I guess going on to some of his TV shows, did you ever see The Kill Point?
I think I have.
He played Mr. Wolf. It was a very fun, like the best of every kind of robbery movie you've all seen.
Sometimes you just have to see, like, they don't even have any pictures. I'm trying to like figure out what this was, because if I see the picture, I'll be like, oh yeah. But I think they're all kind of the same.
Well, it was cool because at the end, when it started out, it was just a very big must-see Spike TV event. And then he starred in one years later when they reformatted as the Paramount Network and got an Emmy nom, and it was for Waco.
Let me see. Yeah, Waco, that was a good one.
And just you never expected him.
Yes, I know Kill Point. Yes, I
Yes,
remember that.
okay.
I'm
This is
trying
Mr.
to like
Wolf.
reading it. Yeah,
It was such a cool reference to all kind of, Reservoir Dogs, Die Hard,
Mhm.
Dog Day Afternoon kind of movies, Inside Men, and it was just like just seeing all, just you couldn't. And it was funny how they re-aired it. It only got like a TVMA rating because they said shit a few times, but then they edited it on repeat viewings. But it was just so interesting, just relentless. And then at the end, you just get a different side of this robber at the very end. And Waco, definitely well deserved. You don't see it coming that, he's an undercover ATF agent. And then he just feels like he might as well have just been part of the clan because he feels like he's betraying this clan.
Don't ruin it. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, fuck. Damn it.
It's all right. I just ignored it. Don't worry.
I haven't seen Bloodline or his season of ER yet. I don't know if I ever will, but I'm told he's good on those.
Yeah, I've never really. Yeah, I
Too much
kind of.
material.
Yeah, I just can't. Like, I'll watch lately with COVID, dude. Honestly, like, even if I was watching stuff, it's just there's so much to
Can't
keep up with.
it. No one
I
can
can't
really.
keep up with it. There's so much going on, and like,
In my schedule of stuff I'll do a review of, and I was like, that might give me 3 years. I'll see where I go.
right? Yeah, like I I think with COVID, and I don't know how you feel about this, but with COVID, I always made fun of people who watched Hallmark, and I just started. I was just like,
I mean,
just be happy and just
it's kind of how
like,
I went
be
with.
the same.
It's
I know
pretty
somebody's gonna fall in love, and I know somebody's gonna get kiss, and I know that they're gonna like whatever. But it was just that like predictability that just made it like okay. You know?
I
You
mean,
just needed like that
it
comforting.
depends. I mean, every movie has a purpose. But at that point,
Hallmark.
those kinds of movies are definitely the kind like Sci-Fi Channel or Lifetime where you don't know what you're gonna get. Most of the time it's bad, and every once in a while you get a nugget that's gold.
Sci-fi, you know, I used to watch tons of sci-fi.
Yeah,
Um,
channel.
yeah, yeah. This I felt like when like middle of the night, like you have to turn something on, like you would watch it. But I love sci-fi. Like I've always been a sci-fi. I love sci-fi. I used to love watching horror movies until everything went to like weird. I don't
Right.
know.
It's very crappy, you mess with your mind kind of garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's well. See, the thing is that being psychic, I don't need to watch a horror movie anymore.
Oh, there you go.
You know what I mean? Like I try to avoid it because honestly, being an empath, regardless if the person is acting or not, I feel everything that they're feeling. So when I'm
Oh,
watching a
damn.
movie, it's not just a movie to me. It's literally feeling everything that they feel at that significant moment.
Oh,
So
jeez.
it's really tough because it can really, if you don't have boundaries, you could really like it creates problems. But I think that's why children have like the nightmares and the things like that because it affects them. They're so sensitive to that at such an early age. Well, that just, you know, that for me, like it just kind of trickles over, you know? So that's where I've just always had it my whole life. And I was able to shut it off for a good period of time. But, you know, at that point, it was like, that was it. So for me, I can't watch as many like horror movies. And like my friend Patty, she has the Annabelle doll, you know?
Oh,
And
damn.
like she's always talking to the Annabelle doll or like doing something with Annabelle. I have to turn it off because then I'll connect. I don't want to connect with, I don't, you know, like I'm like, no, I'm cool. I don't want to be connected with
Yeah.
Annabelle, you
I've
know?
had my share of horror movies where it's just like the plot twist is either given away, or if it's not spoiled, then it gets to the point where it's like, okay, but is that that don't make me sit through 2 hours of just nothing going on and then a holy shit moment. And it's like you either got to get my attention the first 20 minutes or I'm just gonna roast it. I don't care. It's just
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
when they do this whole you got to see it multiple times, it's like no, I think I'm good. I really sorry to sound arrogant, but I don't know everything. But if I have to be interested, and even if I rewatch it, I'm it's not gonna make me give it a passing grade. I'm sorry. Just,
Right. I think I think there's just some really there's some good movies out there right now. I think that just with
definitely so.
whatever John has done though has been all in all just very entertaining and just such a great he's very eclectic. He is very versatile
Absolutely,
and very entertaining, period. Entertaining. And that's
absolutely.
what you're supposed to do. That's you're an
Well
actor, you
merited
know.
awards. Just so much diversity, so many kinds of movies that are even kind of critical proof, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That you're going to study. He is just a really gifted storyteller. He doesn't even preach. He doesn't even hammer you over the head. He'll just kind of say, "Hey, I'm inviting you into my world, and let's just kind of reminisce about life and even laugh about it."
Yeah. No, it's
Uh,
true.
and when he makes a pleasant, just like guest spot, like in movies like Chef or even movies that you don't even remember him being in, like Gamer, Repo Man.
Oh,
it,
man, oh my
he's
gosh. Yeah.
there. You go. I mean, I saw the son is also a star in Netflix's The Night Clerk movies, and I don't remember him in either. But I remember liking one of those and hating the other one. And
Yeah,
I
that's
know when
funny.
and he just kind of like he's always just being busy. Like he's done a movie recently where he stars in and directed about the Miami Jackson high school chess team called Critical Thinking. I'm like, I would totally check that out. That seems like a very inspirational and very natural kind of movie. Uh, my sister would probably punch me if I didn't mention this one. Did you ever see Sisters with Amy Poehler and Tina Fey?
I probably did.
It was just another wacky, just
Yeah,
hey,
you know, though,
everyone's
I
out of
never
town.
really watched all those kind. Like I said, like I was like more of like military, and then I
Oh, it was
watched
recent, like 2015.
2015. No, I still watch a lot of action and comedy. Like I never
That's all
really
good.
a lot of romance and drama and
Oh,
things.
it's a comedy. It's one of
It is a
those.
comedy, sisters.
Everyone. Yeah, yeah,
Sisters.
yeah. I
No,
know the title
so-
sounds like something else, but it's one of those. Our parents are away for the night. Let's party in this house until it burns down. Literally. So
Oh, I totally didn't watch that. I think probably because I saw
it's-
her sisters and I just thought, you know,
Oh man, it was a very fun, vulgar time. I anytime it's on, I have to watch it. It doesn't matter what
Okay,
part of the
I'm
movie
gonna
it's
watch
at.
it now.
I think you will, and it's just so funny because he's kind of the smooth guy, and he's like, "Whoa, I didn't know it was this kind of party."
All right, I gotta watch it.
I mean, I was sold the minute his character is introduced, and they're playing "It Takes Two to Make Everything Go Right." I'm like, oh, "Okay, this movie totally gets me." Okay, well, I'm gonna let you promote this your podcast, or I'll let you go. But it's been very fun having you on the show, and thanks ever so much.
Oh yeah, no problem. And I I
was
really
out of roles.
appreciate I really appreciate you having me on here, and
Absolutely.
and it was a lot of fun, and this was like such a random invite, and I love random invites, so thank you for letting me
We
be
networked
part of
for the
your
podcast invite site, and it was really cool. I just got so many different minds. It's like, okay, people who want to talk about entertainment, boom.
yeah, no, I definitely love it. I think it's just it's cool, and thank you for letting me be part of your guys' world, and
Oh, yeah. And welcome
yeah,
back anytime.
thank you. I appreciate that. I will come back. Um,
Woohoo.
my show is on LA Talk Radio. It's the
Yes.
Bella Maria show.
I went
And
there,
it's
guys. You can access the episodes that have been archived. It's pretty cool.
thanks. Yeah, I'm still getting to like I started it off with natural occurrences, and I had Patty Negri and Kedrick Olson on there from Gaia. Patty Negri
Oh.
is a dear friend of mine. She's actually the Hollywood Good Witch psychic. She's been on Sharknado, all of those.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she has some really. I'm going to have her on the 18th. She's going to be on again on the 18th, and she's going to be, airing work. She has a huge project that she's been working on, so hopefully she can come on here and talk about it as well. She's creating. It's called Paraflix, so it's going to be the Netflix of
Paranormal.
it's paranormal. Yeah, it's
Nice.
just going to be so cool. So so she's going to be coming on and talking about that and what they're going to be doing on the 18th. So if you guys want to listen in, I'm still working on my voice, what I'm supposed to be doing, instead of like being all like happy and go lucky person, I guess. I'm just too. So
Okay.
I'm a life coach. That's what I do. I'm a psychic life coach. That's what happens.
I
So-
gotta introduce you to my psychic pal who I recorded with the other day, Shelly Carr.
Oh, right on. Yeah. And there's two types of like, there's several different kinds of psychics, but you get the really like, hi, it's me, like emo, and then you
Okay.
they're really like, hey, this is me. I'm like totally really here and I'm going to help you. That's me, but I'm not annoying. I hope not, but I definitely,
No, not at all.
I'm very like compassionate, and I'm very like more, just open to helping people and getting them into their path and helping them like follow their passion. And that's why I created Natural Passion, because you naturally create your passions through your everyday life, so it's like
Right.
every day you're trying to create a passion. This is your passion, right? This is why
Forget
you
counseling.
podcast.
This
Right.
is just friendly, very inspirational talking, and that
Right.
will lead itself. Like I've even thought about counseling before when I just was randomly pissed off one day, and I was like, you know what? No, it's not going to make a difference because I'm still going to be pissed off at the end of it.
What I work with people is taking the 3 small goals and then working on just
Outline it.
working in the present. No, just working out in
No?
the present.
Oh, okay.
And you just start working like small goals. Take the small goal. What are you going to do with it? After that, what are you going to do with your other small goal? After that, what are you going to do with that one? Take those three, you drop one down, add another one, and then eventually you just get into your big goal. And because I'm a psychic and because I can work, with the present and going into the future, I can kind of tell you, hey, look, maybe you shouldn't really do this right now. Maybe you should wait.
You should not buy this house that you can't afford.
Yeah, bypass it. Mercury retrograde's coming, no, just wait a little bit. But but yeah, so that's kind of what I do on my show. We just talk about different things, how to live out your passions, and then I have other guests that come on and talk about what they're passionate about and why they created it. So it kind of just really gets people to understand that, during this COVID time, we really need to learn how to live out our passions a little more. We can't depend on how people, corporate America doesn't always exist for everybody. It just doesn't. And we need to live out our passions because we're just robots at that point. So,
right. Yeah, on the days that you're off, you got to be out and about. You got to walk in the park. You got to do something.
Yep. And it's cool. And so, yeah, everybody, if you guys want to join my show, you can also call in and ask questions on the show. So feel free to go to bellamaria.life, bellamaria.life, LIFE. I'm sure you're going to go ahead, Cam. You're going to put,
oh yeah,
by the way,
absolutely.
that's my son's nickname, which is totally cool.
Life.
Yeah. So it's bellamaria.life. You're going to probably have that on this podcast. And
oh yeah.
You could click on the link and it'll take you right to LA Talk Radio. So this was really cool. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Likewise.
It was cool.
This was a great cultural takedown of great reminiscing on diversity, both acting and as
the
a
90s
person.
and the 80s.
Yeah, absolutely. Eras, great minds thinking alike, and just definitely a person who's just career is definitely well deserved. I mean, he's off the charts, just awesome.
Bravo for sure. Right on. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna go and feed my family.
Godspeed to you.
Life still goes on.
All right, well, people stay in touch.
Have a wonderful night.
We'll return after these messages.
Hey, feeling down? Feeling low? Not enough podcasts about movies in your life? Why not try
They must be destroyed on sight.
the new Podcast Cure-All, sure to get you right with the world and on a path to better living. We have exploitation, we have Italian horror, we have zombies, we have slashers, we have crime films, we have spaghetti westerns, we even have sci-fi and sex comedies. So take a dose of
They must be destroyed on sight.
as needed, and let the hosts, Lee Russell, Daniel Harper, Paul Romali, and the odd guest host cure what ails you.
Warning, may cause atrophy, African consumption, black fever, bone shave, chin cough, colic, cramp colic, dropsy of the brain, elephantitis, grocer's itch, jaundice, mania, miasma, mortification, palsy, Pott's disease, rheumatism, scurvy, St. Anthony's fire, summer complaint, and worm fit in some people. Consult a physician before listening.
Hey, I heard you like movies.
I heard you like to hustle.
I heard you like podcasts.
Well, guess what?
There's a podcast for you out there called The Home Video Hustle.
Damn right.
Every Friday, we talk about whatever movie PJ picks out the bag. What does that mean? Every Wednesday on our YouTube page, I put a bunch of movies in a bag, and PJ picks one out at random. And then we just watch it. We talk about it for maybe like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever we feel like doing, wherever the conversation leads us.
But do we actually talk about the movie?
Most of the time. Tangents galore.
Yes.
So believe me, we may be a movie podcast, but it's not always about movies. We might talk about video games,
Music.
Yeah, that's the big one, music. Sometimes we might get a little bit of politicalness in there.
Yes.
Sometimes we may just, we know what we like to do. We like to tell stories, PJ.
Yeah, yes.
I am the master storyteller
Yes.
of the podcast realm. Undefeated. So if you like to hear about movies, video games, whatever foolishness comes to our mind, the most random stuff you could think of, check out the Home Video Hustle. You can find us on the Stitchers,
Yes.
the Google Play,
Yes.
Apple Podcasts,
What else?
Podbean,
What else?
Podcast Addict,
Goddamn.
all that. Ain't no reason you can't get your hustle on. We everywhere, worldwide, baby.
Hustle, motherfucking hustle.
Hey, we can't cuss in the promo, PJ.
Ah.
We gotta be family friendly. There may be podcasts out there that don't want his hair say
Ah. Ah.
all
Yeah.
that good fun stuff.
Well, you.
Yeah. don't run the listeners away, PJ.
Ah, I'm sorry.
But this is going kind of long.
Yes.
So we'll end this and say, hey, check out the Home Video Hustle every Friday on all the various podcast outlets. Peace.
Peace.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. And while Witch didn't make it to the top of the world, he did make the Gangs of Hollywood podcast. So join the gang and enjoy a movie review podcast about movie gangs, gangsters, mobsters, and the mayhem they cause. You can find GOH Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at GOH Pod at www.gohpod.com, as well as your favorite podcast listening app. And remember, say hello to your little friend for me.
If you take two old punk rockers who are past their prime, put them in front of a movie screen and give them a podcast, what do you get? Cinema Punks. Cinepunks. It's the mixtape of movies.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
doll popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was
How
going to be
could
a
you
rough
watch
one.
this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
Hey everybody, I'm Corey. And I'm Zach, and we're the hosts of Podcasting After Dark, a cast dedicated to late-night horror and sci-fi of the 80s and 90s, often found on HBO and Cinemax.
You know, the movies your parents didn't want you watching as a kid. You can find us every other week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and Stitcher.
This is what you want.
This is what you get.
It's time, let's check our cue, baby. Pair it with a couple brews, baby. We love good movies. We love the bad ones too. So we watch them all and pass their lessons on to you. Oh yeah. Everything I learned from movies helps to make life a little bit groovy. With a one-liner plot holes and gratuitous movies, it's time to get busy with your friend Steve and Izzy at eilfm.podbean.com.
Welcome to Who Was She podcast. I am your host, Tara Jabari. After a decade working in documentaries, marketing, and all things digital media, I found that podcasting is a strong medium to share stories. After years of producing for others, I decided to start my own biographical podcast. Who Was She will focus on the life of a woman throughout Baha'i history. The first season is about Lydia Zemenov. Lydia's story explores the subjects of the power of language and faith. Her father invented the universal language Esperanto, and she came from a Jewish family and became a Baha'i. She grew up during World War I and was killed during World War II in a concentration camp, despite heroic efforts to save her life. How can one person's life intersect with so many others, connect across borders, and inspire a biography which inspired this podcast? Over the next few weeks, I will share her story with you and the lives that were most affected by her and those who affected her life as well. They include her father, Lydia Zemenov, her spiritual mother, American journalist Martha Root, and the Baha'i German soldier Fritz Mako, who worked for the resistance undercover while having to serve the Nazi Party. I want to thank the author Wendy Heller and George Ronald Publishing for their blessing to let me use Heller's biography, Lydia, The Life of Lydia Zemenov, Daughter of Esperanto, as a main and instrumental resource for this podcast. So please subscribe and learn about this amazing woman who traveled through 3 continents in an effort to bring unity through the power of language. You can also find more information on our Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest at Who Was She Podcast. Music was composed and performed by Sam Red. I am your host, Tara Jabari. Join us next time as we begin our journey about Lydia Zemenov.
Hi, everybody. It's Mac Jackson. I wanted to invite you to a new site called the Forever Adventure Network. This website has everything: pictures, videos, blogs. There's original music by Harmony Constant, 2 podcasts. One is the MacGyver podcast, where we celebrate Richard Dean Anderson, his iconic roles, and how it's influenced our lives. There's episode discussions, interviews, and life conversations. The second podcast is the Never Gets Old podcast, where we celebrate all the best things that we love in life, from TV, movies, music, and comics. The site is also the home for the MacGyver SG-1 audio series, an ongoing adventure series that continues the adventures of MacGyver and SG-1. There are also multiple stores to choose from for all of your pop culture and adventure needs. Come on by and check us out today. And thanks for joining the adventure.
Are you sick of the same old stale podcasts? Well, then join Vanessa and Darren as they dissect movies of all kinds. The 2 lifelong cinema lovers bring their favorites, curiosities, and first-time watches to the operating table and inject them with a healthy dose of snark. Then there's the waiting room, where they examine books and short stories. So just look for them on Apple Podcasts and where fine podcasts are available. They're part of the Legion Podcast Network. Follow them on Twitter at VDClinicPod. Join them on Facebook at facebook.com/VD facebook.com/groups/VDClinicPod, or email them at vdclinicpod@gmail.com. They're ready to cure what ails you. And still, they just might be a little contagious.
We now continue with our program.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up